Guys, in this video, what we're going to be doing is cleaning the Springfield Echelon. I have mine here in front of me, and I'm just going to go ahead and open the box up. And one thing that I do for a lot of my guns is I do keep the original box that they come in. I think that that's one way to help increase the value. If you ever were to sell one or anything like that, that's going to help you as well, which I don't know why you would want to sell a gun. Even got the ATF garbage right here. So we're just going to set that off to the side. I still do have all the accessories, the ones that I'm not using, the extra mag, the base plate extension. This is the short magazine because the extended mag is actually in it. For those of you guys that are familiar with the Echelon, you know that this is a very cool looking gun. These serrations and things on it. For the safety sallies out there, we're going to go ahead and drop the mag, and I'm going to show it to be clear just because I know someone will say, well, why didn't you show that gun clear on video? You can see there, no mag, nothing in that chamber. We are good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and set all of this stuff out of the way. The first rule in cleaning any firearm is to always make sure that it is unloaded. Okay, there's a lot of folks out there, they have tried to clean a gun and they did not check it first, and they ended up causing injury to themselves. Go ahead and grab a couple of paper towels, and we're just going to set it out here. Those of you guys out there, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are familiar with these guns. These are a very nice gun. Now mine is not the newer version that come out that has the built-in comp. Mine is, I guess you could call it the first gen, or just whatever you want to call it. It is not the newest generation out there, you know, not the comp. Let's go ahead and brighten this up just a little bit for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about here. The newer version, it does have the comp on there, which basically the sight had been moved back slightly, and you know, that gives you room for that compensator. But for me, this gun is fine. I do not necessarily need that compensator. And just to show it to you guys, it does have some very interesting looks. I'll have to say, I think that this gun it looks great. It does have some very aggressive serrations. Now I'm actually going to be doing some comparison videos between this gun and some of the other guns that I have for guys out there that have been subscribers of my channel for a while. Typically do that. That way people that are looking for one gun or another, it kind of gives you just a little bit of an understanding as far as what's similar, what's different, and that sort of thing. And I wanted to be doing the same with this, so be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to check out those videos. The cocking serrations on it, very aggressive, and they just look cool. And for those of you guys who like to cock forward of the chamber, it's very easy to get a hold of this gun. A lot of times guys that have optics on this, which this gun is optics cut. I am not currently running an optic on that. If you think I should put an optic on this gun, let me know down in the comments below. It does have the U-dot sights, and of course where I do have it brightened up a little bit, it's probably going to be a little too bright. Let's just do this. A little bit of more of a contrast. You can see it there. Very nice, very nice, very nice high-vis sight. Works very well for what this gun does. The grip on it, you do get a few different back straps that you can change these out. A small, medium, and a large. I currently have the medium on mine. The magazine release, now that's something that's a little bit different. The magazine release is on both sides of this gun. You can see it here as well as here. Just to show you, again guys, empty magazine, no ammo. I'm going to insert that mag, and I can press this side, magazine falls out. Insert it, I can press this side here, you guys can sit there and put my finger on it, and it falls out. So for you lefties out there, that's something that might interest you depending on how that you like to manipulate your firearm. A couple of other features about this gun that I like. You basically have a little bit of a gas pedal right here. When you grip that gun, you got that good beaver tail right there, and when you're gripping that gun, you get just a little bit of a gas pedal. You manage the recoil. The trigger, we need to look at that trigger. Very little take up, you get to that wall, and when you get to that wall, it's almost 90 degrees, just maybe a little before, little bit of sponginess, and then it goes. I would compare it to a well broken in Glock trigger. Someone would probably disagree with me on that. Just to feel this trigger again, pressing, slight build up there, a little bit of sponginess, and it breaks. It's not necessarily as good as a Canic. For those of you guys who are followers of my channel, you know that I really like the Canic triggers, which that's actually one of the guns that I'm going to be doing a comparison video of this gun to in the near future. But anyways, for now, we're going to go ahead and clean, okay? Just to show you, there's the reset. but it is a very nice trigger. Okay, so safe direction, and you don't necessarily have to pull the trigger on these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that slide back, just right there. I'm going to lock it back. This is your takedown lever. Again, rule 1 when cleaning any firearm, make sure it's unloaded. Okay, keep ammo out of your workspace. This is your takedown lever right here. So what you're going to do, you have the slide locked open. You will then rotate this 90 degrees down, just like that. Just press and rotate it. Very easy, very simple to do. You will then take the slide stop, or the slide release. You want to grip that slide, press down on that slide release, let it come forward off of the frame, just like that. Here is our frame. Here is our slide and barrel, as well as the recoil spring. Notice the orientation of this recoil spring, but I'm going to show you in just a moment exactly how it's going to look when you take it out. Notice the ledge that this is on. Okay, this is something that you need to pay particular attention to. Some folks on some guns will actually have a couple of ledges there, and they will end up putting the spring on the wrong one, and it can cause a little bit of an issue in some guns. But for this, no problem. Now just what I do, and there again, this is for some of you new guys out there. If you're not familiar with firearms, this is something to help you. What I will typically do is cup my hand over the spring and guide rod. I will cup my hand over a little bit, take my thumb to where I can push on it, and then I'm going to push it forward slightly and then lift up. So just a little slight push and then lift it up, and then it pulls right out. Now notice the orientation of it. Okay, you'll notice that there's a little bit of difference between this end of the spring as well as that back end. Okay, when you put it back together, don't put that in backwards. Okay, make sure that you get this oriented properly. Okay, do it right the first time. Here is your barrel. You can see that ledge there. So what we're going to do to remove this barrel is I'm simply going to take my finger and I'm just going to push up like that on the hood, on the barrel. And then I'm going to slide it out. And here is our barrel. And here is our slide. And that, for cleaning purposes, is as far as you need to go. Okay? You do not necessarily need to take it down to where you're pulling the firing pin and all that. Yes, there's guys out there that do that, but it's not necessary for basic cleaning purposes. You know, if you do need to do further work on your firearm, you know, that's a different discussion. If you don't feel comfortable, then don't do that. But for cleaning purposes, this is fine. This is as far as you need to go. Now, what I typically do is I will take some type of a solvent to begin with. I'll take just for here, just using some rim oil. This gun is not dirty, just a little bit of grime on it. And I'm just going to soak that barrel. Okay. I'm just going to give that a good soaking, and I'm just going to leave that aside, let it set, and let that solvent do its thing. The same with the frame and the slide here. And I want you to notice it looks very similar to a Glock in here. There are some differences, but there's some similarities as well. If you were to do a comparison to this and a Glock, which I may do in a future video, there are a few similarities, as I mentioned, as well as some differences. The one big difference about this is that makes it closer to the SIG, particularly the SIG 320, in the fact that you can change the grip module, the entire grip module. You can remove this fire control group from this grip module and actually put that fire control group into a different grip module. You know, one way you can customize it, you can get these things in different colors and everything else. I'm not going to do that now. This grip module is fine for me. This is what I want for now, so I'm not going to be doing that. But the way that you would do that is you would simply push this over just like you would on a SIG 320, and then once you pull that out, you can then lift that fire control group out. And for the YouTube sensors out there, we are not modifying a firearm. Now, I'm going to take some of my cleaner, and just as you'd seen me do before, I'm just going to give it a little spritz down in here, just to all of the mechanisms, and just get a little bit of that in there and let it do its thing. Set it over to the side. The slide. Now, this is something that I want you to pay attention to. You do not want to get a lot of solvents, oils, and things like that into that firing pin. You want to avoid that. Okay, so what I typically do is I will spray forward of where the firing pin is, just get it in there real good and heavy, depending on how dirty the gun is. Okay, if it's not real dirty, you know, it does not take a lot. But if it's, you know, if you need to do a good scrubbing of it, if you've been out doing a YouTube video to where you're dragging it through the mud and everything else, and so you need to do a good scrubbing, yeah, then you're probably going to want to put a little more on there, a little cleaner, to where it will, you know, have more to get it cleaned up. Okay, so get plenty on there to clean it up. So I'll take a little bit on my brush where I'd sprayed that there, and I'm simply going to pull that towards the back. Okay, I'm not spraying it back here, didn't spray it back there. I'm just going to take my brush and just pull some of that back there, just to clean out any of the buildup that is in there. And the reference, if those of you guys who may not have seen them, there's a lot of guys on video on YouTube for testing this gun, torture testing this gun. They've put this gun through the ringer. Okay, so that was kind of a reference to what they do. This brush is a soft bristled brush, a nylon brush. Do not use like a steel frame or a steel brush, wire brush, or anything like that. A good stiff toothbrush. You can get these things anywhere, guys. Check the link down below. And go ahead and clean that rail real good on both sides. One thing that you want to pay attention to as well is the extractor. You can see this little hook that's down in here. Let's see if I can give a better view. I'm going to take my brush right here. You want to make sure that you clean that real good as well. Okay, the reason for that is if you get a lot of buildup here on that extractor, you can get some failures to extract. Okay, it's not going to be able to pull that spent casing back out of the chamber if you have a lot of buildup there. So that's one of the reasons why I take your brush and clean underneath that real well, just like this. You can see there. Does not take but just a moment, and you have that clean. Okay, because you will get some buildup there. Also, just look over everything. Make sure that you don't have anything loose. Make sure that you don't have any kind of breaks or cracks in your slide and the frame or anything of that. So now we're just going to set that aside. The same with the barrel. Okay, make sure that the barrel does not have any bulges, does not have any cracks. If it does, immediately stop using it. Do not use a gun that has a crack or a bulge in the barrel, because it is going to fail. Okay, that can be dangerous. You do not want to do that. So once you've let that soak for a bit, what you'll do is you'll get your cleaning rod and a brush. Here's my cleaning rod. This is actually one that came with one of my Glocks. And one of the things that I like about it is it has this little holder here for where you can actually put a patch through there, and it will hold the patch and use it. You can use it as well. So once you take the barrel, as I mentioned earlier, I'll go ahead and give it an extra little spritz down that barrel, just like that. And then I'll take that brush and feed that brush through. Now, one thing that I'll do, I will turn it, I'll twist it. And the reason that I do that is just to try to help break up any of the buildup. Push it all the way on through and then pull it back. Okay, and again, pushing it through, twisting it, and pulling it back. Okay, just like that. Then you can take your rod, your cleaning rod. You could leave the brush on there on one something like this, or you could take it off. It's completely up to you. And then taking a patch, just rolling that patch up and feeding it into the patch holder, just like that. Take the barrel and again just run that patch through the barrel. Okay, and you can see this gun is not dirty at all. You can put a little bit of oil on it and then run down through there as well. You know, but it's just completely up to you guys. But since we are talking about that, we're going to look at a little bit of oil that we have here. This is from Kentuckiana Gun Works. This is a very good oil. And again, guys, go over to my website at boomsticktacticalgear.com. I have this available. You can order you some there and ship it right to your door. It comes with this little applicator tool. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that. And this is not necessarily something that you have to do each time, but it's just something that I'm going to do. Particularly if it's a gun that I'm not going to shoot for a while, I may take just a little bit of oil, put on a patch, and then run it through the barrel. Does not take much. just like that, just to run it through there. You don't want to leave it wet. You don't want to leave it on the inside of that barrel. You know, you do want to get it cleaned out real well. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. And we're going to look at something else. You saw me go through with the brush and clean the rails on the slide. I like to come back with a Q-tip. You can get swabs and things like that, and then run in that rail as well. And that way it kind of helps you to make sure that you get all of the contaminants out. And you can see, guys, this gun is not dirty. You know, it's very clean for standards now, I guess you could say. And I'm just going to wipe it out, just all down through here. I'm just going to wipe all of that out just to make sure it's clean. And one thing about using Q-tips is don't let pieces of the Q-tip come off and get hung somewhere in your gun. The breech face, I'm just going to wipe it off as well. But remember, don't let it be wet. Don't let it get solvents and oils and things like that down there in that firing pin. Okay. Now I got that wiped off. I'm going to take the frame, and as you'd seen me do before, take that brush. I'm going to clean these rails here. Okay, just get all that buildup off, just like so. If I can get it back in front of the camera to where you guys can see it. Okay, and just turn it over. Make sure that I got underneath those rails very well, just to get all of that buildup out. Okay, that's all you do. And I can come back in with a Q-tip, wipe it out just a bit. Again, looking to make sure that I don't have anything that's bent or damaged, cracked, or missing. Okay, that's what you want to do. And once you have that done, that's when you want to come back in with some lubricant. Yes, there are a lot of these, one size fits all things, cleaners, lubricants, all that kind of stuff. Me personally, I like to come back in with something like this just to give it a little bit of lubrication. Does not take much. Again, that needle applicator, you can put it right where you want it. Okay, just right there on that rail. A little bit back here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit there. Got a little bit of lint there, so we're going to go ahead and get it off. Right back here into the mechanism of the pistol. And this stuff is great. You can feel the viscosity of it when when you're using it. I mean, I can tell you guys, you will feel a difference in your guns when you use this oil. Very good lubricant. Okay, it does not stink either, the way that some different lubricants out there are. Again, goes down and pick it up over my shop, boomsticktacticalgear.com, and that way you can help support a couple small businesses. Now, take the slide. I'm just going to take a paper towel and just wipe it off a little, because we did have some of that cleaner still on it. So I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit and then come back in with just a little bit of oil on those rails. I've already got it on there some. You don't have to put a lot, but as I mentioned before, I do tend to put some of my guns up wet if I'm not going to shoot them for a while. So I'll just put just a dab in there. Again, not anything back here in this area here. Keep it away from that, but you want to make sure you do give it just a dab on the rails, and that's it. The barrel, I will put just a little on the barrel. Let's go ahead and wipe this off from the cleaner. I put just a little bit on here, just like so, and then spread it around. And you can just feel it. You probably should wear gloves, but oh well. You can feel the way that this is. It sticks to the metal. It does not come off the way that a lot of gun oils do. It's not too thin, it's not too thick. And now we're simply going to reassemble it, lay the barrel back into the slide just like that. Make sure that it locks in, just like you see me do there. Okay, I set it in there slightly forward, and then I just slid it back, and it locks into place. Okay, and once you do that, your recoil spring and guide rod, you don't necessarily need any kind of lubrication on that, but you just want to wipe it off. Okay, if you have any buildup or anything like that, just wipe it off just like that. Now earlier, you guys remember the orientation? Okay, for those of you guys that are new to firearms, particularly to the Echelon, Make sure you get that orientation properly. This goes to the chamber end, this goes to the muzzle end of the gun. And what I will do is I will take my slide, I'm going to insert it back into the slide, just like this, all the way forward. And you can kind of see it setting up there. Again, taking my hand, cupping over it, using my thumb to press forward, compressing it slightly, and then down into place. And you can see that we are now back into place. Once I do that, I'm ready to reassemble. So now taking my slide, taking my frame, just setting it back together just like so. And you can see there I'm just feeding the slide onto the frame just like that, making sure that everything lines up properly. And then I'll pull it back and then I will lock it open with my slide stop. Okay, just like that. The takedown lever, I'm now just going to rotate that back like it was before. Just give it a slight push and it will spring forward. Don't try to force this, okay? You should be able to get that to slide right onto the frame fairly easy. If something is catching, if it's not wanting to go back there properly, don't try to force it. You can damage your gun, okay? Now once we've done that, I'm going to let the slide go forward, and we're not finished yet. What we want to do is we want to function test the gun. So what I'm going to do in a safe direction, I'm going to press that trigger, listen for that click. We got our click. I'm going to hold that trigger back and cycle that action. Now that I've cycled the action, I'm going to ease that trigger forward and listen for the click again. And there we have it. Okay, that's how you function check the gun after you have cleaned it. If you don't get that second click, there's something wrong. Okay, there you need to go back and look and see what's happened. Okay, but guys, that is the basic principles of cleaning a Springfield Echelon. Whether it's the comp model, whether it's the original model like this one, you know, that's pretty much, it's virtually identical. Okay, that is identical as far as how you would clean one of these. Great looking gun, love this gun. I really think that if Batman was to have a Springfield, that it would look like this. Okay, that's all there is to it. But guys, hope you liked the video. Be sure to check out the rest of the videos on my channel. I've got several different cleaning videos for different firearms. Go over, check them out. Check out some of the other videos that I've got on my channel as well. Also go over and visit my website at boomsticktacticalgear.com. Get you some gun oil. Pick you up a cool t-shirt, a tumbler, that kind of thing. You probably have seen some of the stuff floating around down below. But guys, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Leave me a comment down below, and we'll see you next time.